forgot. I'm like, how come no one's chatting in the YouTube chat? Oh, because I didn't click the third button you have to click to go live on just YouTube. Pardon me, YouTube players and viewers. Apologies. Don't normally forget that. And I don't even have an excuse today. I didn't go to the emergency room. I'm just on all sorts of painkillers. Big tubers, yeah. The tube. Are we getting French tonight? I will not be defeated. I was really enjoying myself, but I had to cut myself off, even though I was still having fun. Because, you know, you have to do things as an adult. Unfortunately. I'm like, I'll play for an hour. And then it was like 2 hours. And then it was 2.5 hours. I'm like, I gotta stop. I gotta cut myself off. But I can't just not beat it on the stream, you know? All my weird rules about how I'm going to beat it. Like, I have to only use parry. I have to only use one character. I'm not going to use a build that one-shots him, even though they exist. I mean, I'll like four-shot him or something. That's fine. But, you know, you got to play the mechanics a little bit. Anyway, so I'm going to put it on, or I mean, I did already. Because I opened the game to make sure everything worked with OBS, as I always do. But, yeah, I'm going to put it on expert instead of normal. Because if it's taken me this long, I might as well just beat it on expert, right? So, and it doesn't seem like expert is really any harder than normal. At least according to their little blurb in the difficulty settings. On expert, it was like, this is the difficulty for expert gamers. You're going to have to get really good at parrying. And I'm like, but that's all I do anyway. What's the difference? You know, hey, all right, one of those kind of things. You don't think beating it on a stream is allowed on Twitch? Sure is. If you're a big influential person, they'll ban you for exactly 1 day, maybe. Possibly a week, but historically not really. Anyway, how you guys doing? What are you working on? I watched, there was a Warhammer Weekly very early this morning from some hotel room, as Vince is a traveler. Which means I'm free to stream at the normal time-ish tonight. Why would beating it be banned? He is using an alternative definition of the phrase beating it. I'll tell you when you're older. Vince went live when you left for work this morning? Damn. It was a quick one. It was like an hour. Just blasted through them. Bing, bang, boom. A 1 hour strong Warhammer Weekly. It was a strong one. You know, I mean, that's how Warhammer Weekly used to be. Way back in the day, it was like 1 hour, just the news, just the facts, ma'am. Get out of here, you know. I'm not saying that's better, but it's nice to sprinkle in every once in a while. That, you know, they do it when they can do it. If for some miracle they are fed enough news to just cover the news for an hour, they'll do it. Same with me. What'd you think of the new IDK models afterwards? You missed the stream. Wait, new models? Hold on. Did I actually miss that entirely? Somebody link me. Opening Discord on computer number 2. Are they in Giga? Yeah, I mean, it was so long ago, CJ Obusta, that I made YouTube videos that everybody liked. Instead of work a lot more and stream all the time. There were simpler times back then. Plus, there was a global pandemic forcing everyone to watch things on the internet, which is pretty nice, as a person who makes things to watch on the internet. In the SOB reveal, the pictures used in the SOB article, they had new IDK models. Oh. Could it be that those were the ones that they may have been going to show off at the Texas thing when they canceled their preview event? Somebody didn't get the memo? Interdasting. Well, let's, oh, I see someone has did it. I'm just opening them in the old browser here for when I switch over, getting prepared. Open link. Alright. Unenhance. Unenhance. Alright, alright, alright. Seems good. Then we close Discord. Alright, pardon me. I had to set all that up for when we swap over to Newsland. But did they get another turtle? No. I feel like one turtle is fine. Alternative turtle would be a bit much to fill out that line. You listen to a podcast where Vince goes on rants about what GW did wrong? Oh, I would decide to go on a road trip just so I could listen to that whole 7-hour rant in a row, just in an encased space, watching the country roll by. So there could be no distractions. I could just take it in. Be a glorious thing. Masochistic Fireslayers player, Warhammer Weekly enjoyer, who tunes in whenever there's Fireslayers news, just so you can hear Vince say, I don't care about this army. What's next? Shut your ass up. Next caller. Yeah, I don't know. I thought the Fireslayers update was really cool if you're trying to play Oops All Magmadroths. If you're not trying to play Oops All Magmadroths, it's kind of like you didn't get an update. But considering that the point of the updates, so I'm told, is to give alternative builds and playstyles, then I guess that would be the case normally for most armies, in whatever way. Fireslayers still not having teen Magmadroth cavalry is still a crime, you think? They could go that direction. Probably will. You know, I would imagine that there's still plenty of design space to explore and sculpt space to explore among the sort of like a Magmadroth diaspora. Like, you got the big ones that have the 4 legs, you have little dog-like ones, maybe there's a serpent one, maybe there's a flying one, you know? Maybe there's a big tunneling worm one, right? You can explore that space plenty. Or you can explore the forging side of it if you feel like it. Golems and like, I don't know, like dark iron constructs with anvils for hands that have a actual steam engine like in their chest and 2 big pipes coming out of their head that like a semi-truck, you know? I don't know, you can do all sorts of stuff with Fire Slayers. Yeah, it's also a free trait. If you're running at least one Magmadroth, you do get just free power out of nowhere. Like, you get one trait for the guy. It's kind of nice. If the reception to the new War Scrolls are good, do you think there's a chance they keep them for the next season as well? Yeah. I do. This might be foolish of me, but I do. This is a lot of work that they're doing to just throw it all away for the next GHB. I think the adding, the great addening has begun, is my guess. There was the great flavor purge, the suck, the start of 4th, where all the flavor got slurped out, make everything really basic and simple. Everyone loses 80% of their rules written everywhere, just so the game can start from an understandable position and be balanced. And then once it is, they can start adding all the stuff back. And the GHB with 2 pages of stuff for every army is the beginning of adding stuff back. Is the narrative that I would use if I'm trying to spin it in the best light possible, which I sort of am. Don't forgive nor forget shelving half of the poster boy army. It was maybe a quarter, but that's a lot. So I'm downplaying, but also agreeing. And it was not the oldest sculpts, they were recent. That was Sarcosynct. That was when they decided Stormcast should attempt to look cool for the first time. If they had one more cool thing to go with the Magmadroth, you'd think about getting some. Stormcast have always looked cool. That's a matter of taste. In which case, you know, you can like it or not like it. Anything that's not more the same is a step in the right direction for them. But that's probably how like every iOS player views it. That's because it's, I think the general consensus is good step in the right direction, but keep walking. And maybe, I don't know, start power walking or perhaps even running. How big should a range be to be healthy? You watch lots of Warhammer and they're talking about the number of War Scrolls in AOS and it seemed small. It is very small, yeah. It's a very small, simple game. They decided to have lots of armies instead of have very deep rosters. With the notable exception of Skaven, Stormcast, perhaps Slaves to Darkness. You know, there's a few of them. Soulblight Gravelords. There's a few of them that have a pretty wide roster, but for the most part, the units you have to choose between are pretty shallow. And they decided to just have a shitload of armies instead. Like, I came into AOS from Magic, and I'm just like, I'm used to building legacy decks and commander decks and stuff, and I get to choose between 20,000 options. And then you get into AOS, and it's like, hey, you're KO. Here's your battle line. Oh, sick. Is there another choice? No. And 5 years later, All right, we gave you one more choice. So. HeyWoah will never give up the take that Star Drakes and the Drake Cav look bad somehow. I'm going to bring them up on the screen so that everyone can see your insanity. So that everyone can know just how crazy you are, okay? Dracothian Guard. Fulminators. Okay. I'm gonna bring them up. Let's have a look-see here. Do you have any idea how crazy you are? You mean the nature of the situation? I mean the nature of you. If liking Dracothian Guard was your rule, then, and it got you here, then what use was the rule? I can't remember the exact dialogue from that. Anyway, you can't see them. I know, I'm bringing them up for the news section. Like, it's breaking news. Because I didn't know this before. I didn't know that Orterius was this crazy. So it's breaking news. Hey, member of HeyWoah's chat has crazy opinion. Is this the streamer you watch? The streamer who bullies people? A bully streamer, huh? Okay. Yeah, you know, Lamh Fada, you're right. Gets are pretty deep until you realize it's four, like, distinct armies just in a trench coat. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of war scrolls in the book. They're just kind of in their own gated communities, a sort of thing. And there was just a fifth army added, which is goblins that look like they should be in Old World, with very nice sculpts. All right, I have a picture of Dracothian Guard Fulminators right here for you, all right? Now, I don't think this looks very draconic, to be perfectly honest with you. I wonder why they went for the stubby legs. I'm okay with a certain amount of goofiness, I suppose, in Games Workshop products, but I don't know. Some factions are kind of, I don't know, supposed to be a little more serious than others. And I would put Stormcast in there. It's just a strange choice on this one. But, you know. Votan has 5 models. World Eaters have 5 models. The list goes on. Here's your lieutenant for the year. Yeah, I suppose in 40K the people have that complaint about just non-Space Marines, I guess. Yeah, the model does look like a good boy. Fulminators are good boys. They do lots of damage, you know. Mechanically strong for most of the game. If they looked like that, you'd buy some more. That thing has 6 wounds. Can you believe it? The Warcraft 3 Knights. They remind me of the Wormkin from Searing Gorge in World of Warcraft Vanilla. And also Sunken Temple, Ubers, Lobers, Blackwing Lair, etc. They look like the Centaurian Wormkin. That's what they always reminded me of. I mean, they're not centaurs, but it had the same kind of ring to it. By the way, 40k seems to be a much bigger game in the sense that you need like 3 to 4 times the number of units compared to AOS. For 2k points, everything is much cheaper points-wise. Yeah, they made a concerted effort. Very, like, seemingly from on high, because everything conspired to do this. They made a concerted effort to make sure that Age of Sigmar armies on the table didn't get huge. They don't want you to have 300 guys on the table in every army. They don't want you to buy 16 boxes of stuff. And that's probably on a top sheet somewhere in their company as one of the main noteworthy reasons. I mean, there's probably like 6 big reasons, but one of the ones they seem to have taken to heart for why Warhammer Fantasy died is because the armies were fucking massive. You had to buy 1 million things. You had to buy so much crap. And it kind of priced people out. And not buying things and instead just putting like filler inside of your movement trays and Chinese knockoffs, and that was just like the very norm. That was the norm. And so 3rd edition, they hiked the points on everything and then kept it like that, and now we have a smaller table size, and we just don't want to. They're afraid to make gigantic armies. The number of units you're playing with was probably the biggest in 1st edition, and it's sort of gone down since. And 1st edition was much smaller than Warhammer 4 Fantasy. By half, perhaps. Like that drastic. Warhammer Fantasy died because it was not only extremely boring, but also unfun to play. You are right on both counts, but there are other reasons as well. You can find a target audience that likes boring games that aren't fun to play, but also then, if they're crazy expensive, and the management is so bad of it, you know, they managed the game so badly for like a game, right? Absolute nonsense, like every army didn't even get rules every edition. What? That's crazy. Every edition. Some armies were using rules more than 1 edition old. Like 2 editions old and stuff like that. Who wants to play such a thing? But there's a target audience for rank and flank stuff. For just J.R.R. Tolkien, except slightly worse and maybe sillier, you know? There's still plenty of people out there who just want dwarves, man. Fuck all this other stuff. You gotta make the dwarves all weird. I just want normal dwarves. There's probably a very large amount of people that just want dwarves. Just normal elves. Horses that are half horse, and the other half is still a horse, you know? So I understand that very well. Are we talking about Paradox Interactive? Damn. A horsey tour? Yeah. Yeah, if I could lay a criticism taxi stock whilst I'm shitting on Warhammer Fantasy, I can also shit on my own game. Remember, I'm the guy who hates everything. Age of Sigmar is schizophrenic. Probably too obsessed with trying to be creative for creative's sake. It has to be different for no reason. Like, here's what you expect it to be. It has to be different than that no matter what, even if it's a bad idea. Nothing can be normal. Nothing can be one thing. It has to be 5 things. And once you've gone a little too far, such that maybe now it's sort of contentious, like people are either going to love it or hate it, you probably went a little too far. It is time to start going twice as far as that, right? So I take all those, I consider those reasonable criticisms as well. Total War and Vermintide has gaslit a lot of people who never played fantasy battles into thinking the old world was good. Yeah, that's an entire 2 generations of people that never really played Warhammer Fantasy think it was really good because they played Total War and Vermintide. But hey, what are you gonna do? They made the old world and people like the old world, I think. I don't know, I haven't heard any complaints about it from old world players. They tell me it's good. So I see no problem here. They got the old world. Apparently they like it. Good. I hope it's fun for them. Old World has a balance issue with dragons sort of ruling the roost, but the nuts and bolts are good. Yeah. And I'm told the army creation is a lot more fun, which I will instantly believe with no evidence at all. Because army building in Age of Sigmar is worse than it's ever been. And so I'm going to assume that basically any wargame has a better army building experience than AOS at this moment. Yeah, surely we'll start getting people saying Age of Sigmar is amazing after playing the Age of Sigmar versions, equivalents of Total War and Vermintide in, what the fuck was the RTS called? And also, what the fuck was that veritable phone game during Night Hunt Stormcast time? Those are the only 2 AOS games I can think of. And they're liquid magma garbage. Realms of Ruin, but what was the other one? The one that, I got it on Steam, but I felt like I was playing a phone game with a mouse and keyboard. It was a Malign Portents era game. Oh, that's Realms of Ruin? Well then what's the shitty RTS? Stormground. Okay. Stormground. Got it. Yeah. Age of Sigmar content creator, name the name of a single AOS game. Challenge impossible. They got HeyWoah. I'm a streamer who does AOS stuff. So I got Realms of Ruin to play it on stream and then refund it. And essentially shit on it the whole time. Like, I bought it as content, right? I mean, I buy absolute dog shit games for content all the time. I bought Total War 3. You know? That being said, I didn't actually get Stormground. What was it? The RTS one? I couldn't bring myself to even buy that for this stream. It looked so bad. The OS Munchkin card game was fun. Munchkin is still around? Is this a hot take? Munchkin is the Borderlands 3 of card games. Confirm or deny? Both of those games were conceptually close to approaching somewhere near fun. Is as good of a statement you can make, and it's very generous. Yeah, it sounds very generous. Anyway, it's time to get on to the news. We're Newsmaxing here. Wait, isn't Newsmax an actual thing? I think that's the name of a real thing. Well, whatever. Persona 3, but Skaven? Bull. Dude, I would play it. I would play it. I would immediately play it. Oh, yeah. Anyway, big new. The news. Starting with some stuff I should have gotten to last time, but I was too busy losing to Simon in Expedition. I don't know how to say 33 in French. Yeah, can't remember. Anyway, brand new Idoneth Deepkin, accidentally shown off in the SOB spoiler. We were going to see these in Texas, but they canceled it to replace it with something. And now we accidentally see them, and they don't get a reveal event. Hey, all right. We have a... So this is kind of like I'm looking at the base of it, right? I don't know if any of you own a Wave Chat or not, but this is very similar to the base of the Wave Chat model, right? Like it's got a little boat part and some detritus, and then there's a sort of a surging, curling wave here, except instead of an elf guy flying up, it's a big front tooth stuff that looks very similar to front tooth stuff I've seen somewhere else. Turtle face, maybe? An eel mouth? No, not an eel mouth. Something. It's reminiscent of that. My question is this an endless spell? I think it probably, I'm going to say it is. I think it's an endless spell. Which makes me sad because I hate endless spells. But then again, I don't know how much spellcasting Idoneth Deepkin can do nowadays. In the past, it was really nothing. But maybe now it's something. I don't know. Looks cool. Looks good. Hope it's fun. Reminds you of the Kron spine. Or is that a Turda face? Way back here. It does have a similar kind of look to the turtle face. 2 casts as a treat. Waven Molten Infernoth, huh? Endless spell stuff visible behind it. Oh, okay. Got this thing here. either another endless spell or this is the endless spell and this is a creature I want to do. Hey, you know what? Wouldn't it be cool if this wasn't an endless spell and it was instead a unit, and then you got some tentacles that it just has and you put the tentacles all over, and the tentacles can move, but they're part of that model, or maybe they're part of the endless spell. It's like set up the Angradon Wave Surge and 2 of its oceanic tendrils, and they have to stay within 6 of each other, and you move them all as a group and stuff like that, and it does something. That could be interesting. Other one. Oh, foot hero. Absolute foot hero. Now with 2 spiky fish friends, actually 4 at least, perhaps a 5th one on the other side here. A lot of fish friends. Certainly a spellcaster because they're floating. Looks good. Yeah, what we needed was more foot heroes. Is that how close to the actual name your top of the head BSing will turn out to be? I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I'll cross-reference it when it comes out. Slop it up, ombre. Anyway, it looks cool. Looks fun to paint, actually. This guy's face looks weird, doesn't it? Maybe I'm just seeing it at a weird angle. Oh no, those are his knuckles. Got it. And then finally, there's one more surging guy back here, leaping off of a wave with a weapon in the back there. Looks to be not a wizard, so probably sucks. But has the furled top similar to the storm chad. No, the wave chad. Which one is it? Of the sea. Yeah, not of the storm, but of the sea. Yeah. First hero much better than this one. This one doesn't look very good. This one I appreciate. And if this is endless spell, it's like the most detailed endless spell they've ever made. May or may not be. We'll see. Usually endless spells are more like this, just sort of a clip of something. They should have a Kraken, true. Is it true the IDK commissioned Deathclock to write Mermaider? No, it was just inspired by that. Unofficially. Mermaider. What rhymes with murder that has to do with the sea? Mermaider. Alright. Scourge a Guy ran. Shadowy Shenanigans from Morale Khaine and Morai Heg. Blood, Shadow Magic, Murda. No, we're not talking about the Forces of Chaos. Today, Scourge a Guy ran update is for the Daughters of Khaine. And they're on the side of order, technically. Our resident Doomfire Warlock in every single box. Alex has to say this about them. Wait, Alex? This is Adam Troke. Man's name's Adam. I'm bad with names, but I'm pretty sure this is Adam Troke. Who's Alex? Hey, all right.
She was just a scrawny thing, wrapped in a tatty cloak with arms as thin and brittle as a bird's. Long hair dangled down to mask her face, and in her bony fingers, she clutched an iron staff. Glubnuk strode up to her, pointing with his axe. "Ho now, don't you know this part of the swathe belongs to the drowned men?" Once it did, the strange figure said, but fate has other plans. Always a sour sort, Glubnuk's beady eyes narrowed. The Blight King never liked to be cheeked. "I'll tell you what we do with trespassers here," he said. "We throw them in the maggot pools, Let the little wrigglers burrow into their guts and eat them up from the inside. He went to jab the elf thing with his axe. In one smooth motion, she threw off that dirty cape, revealing sleek wings of sable feathers. Her iron staff, a cruel thing, topped with a harsh angular rune, struck him in the belly, and he felt icy lengths of shadow wrapping around his girthy frame, like the coils of some night serpent. He struggled, but the strength seeped from his muscles. The winged elf's talon-like fingers flickered in front of his glaucose vision. "Your eyes betray such troubling portents," she whispered. "Let me see what else they can tell me." Her nails snapped forward, and Glubnut began to scream as his vision was swept away by a tide of bright and agonizing fire.
Glubnut. His name was Glubnut, of the girthy frame. Ooh. Hey, alright, yeah, Glubnut Shitto. Favorite Star Wars character. HeyWoah, is it true the IDK commission? Oh wait, I already read that. No fingerprints underwater, nothing to tie to a crime. Please do a lady voice, Mr. Alex. Yeah. HeyWoah, do you have any ideas about how you make foot heroes useful again? Oh, game design lecture corner. Step into my office. Okay, let's explain the problem first, right? I think coming up with a cogent problem for us to find a solution for is a good step one. What's the problem with foot heroes in general? Well, entering combat as a foot hero is difficult, typically slow, typically die real easy, don't do any damage. Feels like a waste kind of to take them unless they have some amazing buff to hand to your units, either in the form of just an ability that's good, perhaps a spellcaster, perhaps a priest, you know. I would say that's the problem that we're trying to solve. And so we have 3 solutions to this problem that all have a bunch of potential side effects to them, right? The first one is, well, you could make foot heroes. Well, let's start with the easiest one. Every single foot hero is just, this is a rule of law, okay? If you are a foot hero, you have to be either and or, right? And or for all this stuff, a wizard, a priest, have an amazing buff. Have a buff someone would get excited about actually putting in their army. Right? There's 3 things. Either one of the 3, maybe all of them, 2 of them, whatever. They have to do something like that, right? And you could just do that. It would require a decent amount of game changing, but not too terribly much. Yes, you would have to go through something like 200 War Scrolls and actually be like, okay, why would anyone take this? If the answer is no one would, we need to now give them something that would cause someone to want to take them, right? An ability or something like that. You could even keep the theme of the fighty ones by the fighty ones get the strong combat buffs, right? The caster ones are casters, and so your lore can figure that out, and the priest ones are priests, and your prior lore can figure that out. That's the easiest solution to think of and to do. It's just a rule. If you're a foot hero and you don't have one of those 3 things, then do not make it. Right? Or change it to rules so it has one of those. That's the easiest solution. And that's what I would do, because it's the easiest solution. And it's also fun. There are other things you could do. For instance, you could juice up the combat foot heroes with no other relevant abilities, really. You could juice them up until they actually do great damage, high movement, get them in the combat somehow, you know, flying 3-6 charges, whatever. You could make a bunch of Gotricks, in other words, out of every melee foot assassin hero in the game. But you run into potential balance issues then. Because if a 120-point foot hero kills better and lives longer and has more maneuverability than a 120-point unit of guys, then why would you ever take the unit of guys? You would have to be very careful with the balance of that. You would start seeing people just spamming heroes as if they were normal units, and the game would look like even more like a gigantic skirmish game of just a bunch of singular chads, waddling around, one-shotting each other, which would probably unbalance things and not be okay, right? And the answer to my rhetorical question there was, well, you would want all the bodies for capturing, but you don't. Not in this game. In first edition, that would have been true, because capturing mattered a whole lot there. And in second edition, that would have been true, because capturing mattered a whole lot there. In fourth edition, you just kill everything on the point and you take it. Simply kill them. What's their control score? 0, because they're dead. It's that easy. So that's not a very convincing argument. But I don't know, maybe it could be. So anyway, that's the second option you could do. You could juice them all up and make them like great, But then it would be a whole bunch of Gotreks running around the table, and that might be miserable to play or play against. So maybe not a good solution. In certain armies, it might be. That's what Sons of Behemoth is, in a sense, right? They're like, well, what if your army is just 4 heroes? That's what SOB is in a certain respect, if you smooth it out a little bit. And then the third option, so the first option is simply make all the heroes good in the way that foot heroes are good, which is caster or priest, or have an ability that force multiplies your team. And if you don't have any of those 3 things, rewrite it until you do, game-wide. That's the real solution. Second one is juice them up so that the melee foot assassin can be a real melee foot assassin, but then they probably outshine units. And that's a whole can of worms. It's an extra problem. And then the third possibility is you change the game drastically by adding all sorts of extra rules bullshit on top of the system. Duct tape it all in there, staple it all on there, and via the core rules, you force players to interact with the foot hero system. And all those words are capital in that phrase, right? And the foot hero system would be like, I think they had something like this in Warhammer Fantasy, but I'm really just making it up. If a unit is next to a hero and they're fighting a unit that doesn't have a hero, then the unit with the hero like auto wins somehow, because the unit with the hero issues a challenge and there's no one to have to answer the challenge, and then they have their own little singular combat and all their troops are in a circle watching them, and then whichever one of those heroes wins, their squad gets like +1 attacks and +1 defense, or some like crazy bonus, so that you always want heroes by all your units, and you keyword it and make special rule. And essentially, you like rewrite a whole big part of the game to force players to interact with. It's like it's a thing you have to play with, in other words. Sort of like what used to be chaff or prospector units or something. You just change the game so that it's another checkbox you have to check off on your sheet. And that sounds like a whole lot of work. Possibly like so big that you might not even add that in an addition change, much less anything else. But you could do that. There are games that do that. There are games built around doing that, where you have like, a little mighty hero. You connect it to the unit. Maybe it's not even separate. You just add it. And then Lord Commander Bastion Carthalos is just part of that unit of Liberators. And they're all considered just the same unit. They move as a group, and he's like surrounded by a bunch of Korean bodyguards with umbrellas and golden armor. Like, you could do it and it would be cool, right? So that's an option you could do as well. Those are, to me, those are like the three that you could do. Well, you could do a fourth one, but it's such a gimmick. You could bring Commander into it and be like, okay, or I think War Machine does this. I don't know much about War Machine, but you know, choose a foot hero. Actually, Holy Hammer Steve does this for his narrative events. You choose a foot hero, and that foot hero is like your general, not your, or it's like your commander, your whatever. It's not the general of your army. It's like your champion, your army's champion, and you give him all sorts of special rules and stuff, and everyone gets one for free, and your army's champion gets bonus whatever, and it's really, you know, your army's champion can maybe only fight the opponents. That's the only thing it could lose to, or something like that, right? Maybe it's like your commander in Magic, where it gets bonus powers and stuff, or maybe it's like your War Machine wizard guy, and then it is the one using all of the things that the player normally does, or something. You come up with something like that too, but these are really far-reaching. You know, they really change everything. To be perfectly honest, it would be so much easier. Actually, the easiest thing is to do nothing. I forgot that. Never forget that doing nothing is always an option. You could do nothing, and then, like, you know, 40% of all heroes in the game are just completely worthless. Who would want to buy them, right? And I don't think that's a good solution, because you're making products. You want people to buy them for as many reasons as you can come up with. And that's why you wrote rules in the first place, to give people another reason to buy stuff, right? So that would be a bad choice, obviously. It's also the choice they do, but I think, yeah, you just go through them, and every single hero has to be a wizard or a priest, or have a force multiplying ability. And you could even keep the theming of, well, this guy's not a wizard in the lore. He's not a priest in the lore. He's actually just like a badass killer dude, you know? Well, okay then. Give him an ability that is a force multiplier, that is themed towards being a badass killer dude and inspiring the troops to do that, right? It's easy. What if, like, foot heroes could buy magic weapons that have rules? I mean, that's what artifacts were supposed to be, and used to be. And used to be fun, but the same problem of no delivery method, die too easily, still don't do very much damage even when you give them stuff like that. That problem still persists. It's almost systemic. Like, I just don't think a 6-inch move foot hero that tells me they really do tons of damage. Like, I don't care. You move 6. You move 6 and you have like 7 wounds. I'll just kill you. It's fine. Anyway, great question. I got to go on a tangent for it. Hi, HeyWoah. I'd like to thank you for the background noise while you paint your Votan army. I hope you're getting enough sleep. I'm not. I've had trouble to sleep the last 2 days, but it's because of the pain, and I got pills for that now, so looking forward to more sleeps moving forward. Dark dreams haunt the wizard. No, it's troubled sleeps on account of waking up a few times on account of the pain. It's not like bad dreams or something. I got spells to control my dreams. Don't worry about it. And a crystal ball to observe them later to discover the portents of the future by casting bones. Still learning how to read them properly. Every time you think you figured it out, there's a new angle on it. His battle wounds grow angry. waking up in the middle of the night from nightmares of missing perfect parries in Clair Obscure. Dude, I just want to play that game. That was fucking fun. I liked it. I'm looking forward to playing it tonight. How would you balance cavalry? That's really hard, General Grizzly. It's a really difficult question. It seems like it would be an easy question, like the hero question that Shusharus asked me. So easy. I decided to pause for a long time before that. I'm not sure why. For, I don't know, effect. But yeah. The how to fix foot heroes is the easiest fucking solution ever. You don't even have to be a real game designer to think of that one. Armchair game designer can come up with it just fine. That's fucking easy. Balancing cavalry is a lot harder because what are cavalry? What are cavalry at the basic level? They are units that are fast. Right? Pretty much. Like, you take a normal unit, and they have roughly the same amount of wounds, fewer models, but more wounds per, whatever. But it's just like, oh, here, you got troops and squads of guys, and then you have cavalry. What are they? Well, they're like troops of squads of guys, except they're just way faster. How is that not overpowered? Where the definitional quality of the unit is, it's like a normal unit except way faster. You know, movement in this game is so strong. How bad does cavalry have to be until people stop playing it? I'm taking a few artistic licenses in the definition of cavalry here, but if you, because I know you're probably thinking of it right now if you're listening, is, well, you just make them do no damage. Like, there's two dials, there's the speed dial, and there's the damage dial. And you do this, right? You turn them opposite directions. You turn the speed up, and so you have to turn the damage down. That just makes sense. And then it'll be balanced. I mean, is it though? I don't know. Because high speed, zero damage is what prospector units are. And so now they just directly convert into victory points for you. And it would be kind of silly to have mounted knights with great swords and horse barding and all this other shit do no damage. It would be sad. It would seem like it should be the other way around, right? In real life, pikemen are good against cavalry, for sure. Yeah. For sure. I mean, you could turn their fragility up, but that doesn't make much sense. Because typically knights are heavily armored, much more so than the people on the ground. Does the points dial make a difference? I'm going to give a little bit of a hot take here and say no. Not really. You make them more expensive, then the players are like, well, but I still have to take it because I need a unit that's fast and good. And at a certain point, once the points dial has rotated enough, then it becomes mathematically unplayable, right? But until it gets there, the army just shrinks. And you need your unit that can go fast and be good. Add more anti-cav weapons. Can't use an anti-cav weapon if you're dead. Which is why I don't like anti-weapons as a... So, like, if you're really slow and your opponent's really fast, they're the one that's going to get the charge on you. So they're going to fight first. And so you're dead. Now, what you could do is anti-cavalry weapons instead of anti-cav rend 1. It could be when they get charged, they get strike first. For instance, the pikemen that Cylon Dorado mentioned. If you got pikemen, they could have a rule that says on a turn in which they have been charged, they get fight first. And that's like more, I mean, that's historically realistic. It makes sense. You know, you're looking at it as a person. You're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. As a playing the game, though, I don't know if we want that kind of rock, paper, scissors. Maybe we do. That's fine. There's plenty of games like that. But at that point, it's like, okay, so what a silver bullet this thing is. If you're the cavalry army and your opponent has the pikemen, then you can't win. If you charge them, then the pikemen just kill your guys before you can even go, and there's no counterplay. You can't do anything about it. Oh, well, maybe you put a dice roll on it. So on a 3-up, they fight first. Well, now the dice are 100% deciding who wins that contest in an unsatisfying way, right? So many, yeah, there's a lot of stuff to think about with this. Maybe cavalry have a special role or a special job that the game itself gives them that causes it to matter. If cavalry are about as good as boots on the ground, then you always want cavalry because you want to go fast. You want to move, you want to have high move. And then the game becomes, if you have good cavalry, you spam it. If you don't, you kind of suck, right? To boil it down. And that doesn't feel great. In any case, there has to be something, and then probably a lot, in the game to force players to build armies that look like armies, if that's what you're trying to do. And I'm going to be a little judgmental here. That is absolutely what they're trying to do. Is to give you units that, or is for their players to make armies that look like armies. And what do I mean by that? I mean, aside from some weirdo outliers, like Sons of Behemoth, Beastclaw Raiders, stuff like that, where your army just looks whack. In general, they want armies to look like armies. What do armies look like? Well, 80% peasants, 10% cavalry, 10% archery or something, right? Artillery, maybe. Why do I think that they want people to build armies like that? Because that's the models they make. They make tons of boots on the ground guys in every army that everyone right now is completely ignoring to just spam cav. Like look at a Thralls, for instance, from IDK. Thralls, those guys. Thralls are the guys with the two-handed greatsword elves that have a 5-up save, 1 wound each, and they do 1 damage per hit. They're terrible. They have move 6, I guess, but yeah, they're awful. They die to anything. They don't do damage. They're not really for anything. But if they made a cutscene in a video game of Idoneth Deepkin going to war, you would see thralls as far as the eye can see marching in formation, right? So you got to build your game to have players want to do that for any reason. And so either you make thralls good or you change the core rules to give people a reason to play a bunch of chaff. Or maybe they're not chaff. Maybe you try to make chaff fun somehow or necessary. I don't know. They've gotten rid of a lot of that type of structure that there used to be, like you had to take a certain amount of battle line and stuff like that. We don't have that really anymore, necessarily. And this all goes back to me, the first principle of changing AOS or fixing AOS or tweaking AOS or whatever. The first principle is you have to come up with a reason besides I think it looks cool for every single model and war scroll to be sold. Like you got to come up with a reason, a game reason why someone would be excited to buy every one of your models. If there isn't one, you've hugely failed. It's unacceptable. Like for a unit to just be terrible. Like who would ever play this thing? Like as long as that, whatever, Stormcast Foot Hero that doesn't do anything, as long as that guy in a box is sitting on a shelf with rules that don't do anything, phantom money is going away. You're losing phantom money through your hands of every person who would have bought it if there was a reason to buy it, but they don't, right? And so the problem won't go away. Mark Rosewater. Yeah. I just think it's really important. You want to give your customers any excuse you can to buy your products. And they do a lot of work visually in such a way that they're almost good. You almost don't even bother, right? You're good. Almost every new kit that comes out looks amazing, looks great. Visually, you're good. That's reason number one to buy any model, is because it looks great. The sculpt is good. It would be fun to paint, whatever. You gotta give the corollary game mechanic reason for everything. Otherwise, you're just losing potential money. Unless you think they're guaranteed to buy something else instead of that of yours. But I don't know that that pans out like that. I mean, they know their marketing data better than I. So maybe that is how it works. Somebody walks in to a Games Workshop shop dressed like a pigeon, holding their dollar bills in their hand outstretched like this, and just like a torch in a cave, just walking around, and they're like, I'm spending $100. I don't care where. You know, maybe that really is how it works, but I don't think so. It's not full Magic the Gathering where, hey, buddy, you got any lightning bolts? No, we're fresh out of lightning bolts. Okay, I'll buy shocks then. Said no one ever, right? You need something that does 3 damage for 1. You will not buy shocks if they don't have lightning bolts. You'll just wait, until the new shipment comes in or whatever. And like, Magic players tend to have really specific things they're looking for, and if you don't have it, then all right, see you next week. Anyway, good question. I didn't answer how you balance cavalry, because I don't know. I'm not a war game designer. I don't know how you balance cavalry. You either force people to take things that aren't cavalry via army creation rules, but way more importantly, battle plans. Or you give cavalry its own like special job to do or something, but you don't. I almost don't even think that's good, because people want to take cavalry by default because it's fun. It's fun to be faster and do more damage. I don't think you need to change the game. One might say that you got to give players more reason to take the blob of 20 idiots who suck that every army has. Blob of 10 dudes. Do they do good damage? No. Do they die easily? Yes. All right. Do they look cool? Usually not. No, actually, a lot of them are quite charming. I'm being unfair now. But in a vacuum, it's sort of like when I was playing Path Exile 2. What do players want to do? They want to play a one-button build. They want to go real fast, zoom around the map, push one button, have the whole map explode. That's what they want. You don't need to further incentivize players to want to build glass cannon in softcore mode. Players naturally want to build glass cannons because glass cannons are fun. You don't need to incentivize people in an MMO to choose DPS classes. They'll choose them anyway because DPSing is fun. The incentive structure needs to be built around things that aren't fun, like healing, or things that are stressful, like tanking, or things that would be a a lot of work to paint, and that are just meant to die, like chaff. One of the jokes we used to make in first and second edition is new player aren't like brand new players. New player armies don't have any chaff in them. They don't play any chaff. They're just hyper elite, and they're so easy to beat. Like it's a buy at a tournament because they roll up. They don't have any screens. They don't have any bubble wrap. They don't have any chaff. All of their guys are super valuable, and so you just drop in, charge in, kill them. And so that was the joke. The joke was that new players don't play chaff, and so they're easy to beat. Nowadays, no one plays chaff. Because why? Why would you? Which means we get to a little bit of a harsher rock, paper, scissors, I guess. Who's Rocket in the game of Rocket Tag wins? Several games are fun like that, right? Like, some sort of dive kick game writ large. Vanilla WoW PvP where you just one-shot each other almost. Like, that can be a fun experience, and games can be built around that being fun. I don't know about a war game, though. It takes a very long time to set up and prepare to start playing an Age of Sigmar game. We are obsessed with making the games shorter, but the type of short game we want isn't you get blown up turn 2. Like, that was indeed a much faster game, right? But that's not the type of faster game we're searching for here. I don't think, anyway. You think giving everything a 6-inch threat range in combat might have been a mistake? I agree. Yeah, it was one of the things me and Vince talked about when I was on his show after the 4th edition changes, the hot takes episode. I'm like, giving everything a 6-inch threat range was too much. We've gone too far. It sounded cool at the time, and then you play with it a few times, and you're like, this is way too deadly. Around the Napoleon times, it was rock, paper, scissors, where if you kept your guys close, they were messed up by cannons, but if they were spread out, they got messed up by cavalry, yeah. And it's good to have decision points there. It's good to have, what is the buzzword they use in the gaming industry? Meaningful choice. It's good to have meaningful choice, if it is. Because otherwise everyone's just flowcharting, or perhaps just pushing the one button, right? You might not get this, but in Old World, there's something called a panic test. Once a unit fails, spreads to other units, so it becomes possible for low leadership armies to chain, flee off the board, and count as casualties. Yeah, that's what they have. They had that in Warhammer Fantasy back in the day. They had that in Warhammer Fantasy. And they kept the bravery score in Age of Sigmar, but they didn't quite do that. They just had the guys die. You made battle shock checks whenever you lost models from your unit. And if you failed your battle shock, which was against your bravery, then extra guys would die and flee from the battle and stuff like that. And everyone kind of hated it. It was sort of a waste of time. And the game revolved around becoming immune to it somehow. In general. And then they got rid of it and replaced it with something that's even more meaningless, which is control scores. In 6th edition, you had a Night Goblin army that got hit by a cannon and had an entire 2K list run off the board after your opponent's turn 1 shooting. It makes for a great story. I don't know about a great game, but it makes for a great story. Also, if you win that fast, you could probably just shuffle up and play another game. Sounds like one of those rolled a d20, got a 1, re-rolled it, got a 1, re-rolled it, got a 1, so on and so forth. Oh, damn. Was I talking about Daughters of Khaine? Oh, I think it was. Oh, yeah. I kept going back to the Cav thing because I haven't really answered your question very well. I'll talk about some options. Option 1, make Cavalry terrible. Option 2, make non-Cavalry amazing, right? You could balance things that way in just some generic way, right? So that Cavalry's role isn't thundering hooves and dealing tons of damage. Instead, it's like, this thing, you know, battle tactic is to have Cavalry do something. You could force it that way. This objective, if you capture it with Cavalry, you get 1 fewer victory point than if you capture it with guys. Like, you could force it. You could just come up with requirements, right? You could limit it. You know, in original Magic the Gathering, you could play with any number of cards as long as you owned them. And then they made it 4. And I think in 40K, you can only play 3 of any one unit. And that's dumb and lazy. But you could do it. What is it? Force organization chart stuff. You could have the thing where it's like, yep, 2 Cavalry. That's it. Like, you in the army building thing, you could just say 2 units of Cavalry max in an army. That's it. Just 2. And then armies like Castelli Keep and Yorlbad, Beast Claw, and maybe some sort of City of Sigmar type all Cavalry, you know, like thematically appropriate, heavy on the Cavalry armies. Maybe the max is 4 instead of 2. It goes like 2, 3, or 4, maybe, for how Cavalry focused your army is supposed to look or be or play. So you could limit it that way with how you build your army if you want. The problem with that is the longer they write battle tomes and rules in an edition, the more they completely ignore that kind of thing. So don't do that. Every edition, it's like, all right, this is really rare. It's only going to happen this one time. 11 books later, it's just expected that everything works that way. And they print rules. Oh, everybody gets it. Everybody gets it. Everybody gets it. So you would have to show some kind of restraint and management between teams to make sure there was some sort of design philosophy behind it. But let's think about some of the eventualities. Okay, so if you do nothing else but limit it, so let's say you can only play 2 Cavalry units. Well, that's what most of the armies are right now. It's 2 units of Cavalry, 2 units of big Cav. That's what the armies look like. So maybe that doesn't solve the problem at all. Maybe you just play 2 giant units of Cavalry then. And that becomes the whole game. Well, then that wouldn't solve the problem. Maybe you can't reinforce Cavalry. Maybe you can't reinforce anything. Maybe there's a limited amount of reinforcement. Although they tried that last time and they couldn't help themselves, and eventually everyone just basically reinforces as much as they want. Probably need to put a limit on all the elite units and specials. You don't have to take the core, but you can only take like X% of your army as elite. Trying to think about in what ways that would be really bad. That's my default is someone has a suggestion. Let's figure out the pitfalls. Like what's the worst thing that could happen if you made that choice, right? So for instance, only 30% of your army can be elite. What's the nightmare scenario? Well, the nightmare scenario is 30% of your army is good, and the rest is less than less than worthless. And so really when two people play 2K against each other, they're playing with 600 points of awesome units and then 1,300 points of crap that sucks. And they could almost roll up to the table without it and do just about as good. So you would still have to make the other stuff more worthwhile. That's a pitfall aversion there. It's also annoying to math that out. Ooh, this percent, right? What does elite mean? Also, that like kills a bunch of the coolest armies ever. Right? Like, I think it is actually charming in AOS that if you like Gorgers, you could just play all Gorgers if you really feel like it. I think that's a point in favor of AOS. That you can make goofy crap. But the problem is if you let people make goofy crap, then everyone makes goofy crap only. TOW uses percentages for the whole army. Ugh. Not for me. Sounds like I would like it if it were a tabletop D&D game, or if it were a, I don't know, video game RPG or something. But for whatever reason, I don't like super crunchy war game stuff necessarily. And also the problem with AOS is model range. Yeah, half the factions can't support it because the armies are super small. In fact, I don't think you could do a limit 3 of any one particular unit because you couldn't actually play some armies. Or it would be so limiting that every army would be actually the same because you just don't even have a choice almost. What'd you think of rules like reinforced units get -2 movement? Let's think about it. It's a reasonable downside from a realism point of view, isn't it? There's more guys, it's harder to manage them. They would move slower from point A to point B. The problem with stuff like that is there's a knife's edge for it, but there's also a good part about it too. The knife's edge is like what they did with, I don't even know what the name of it is because no one has ever done it. What's the type of unit that gives your opponent command points? That they get, the downside is you can take auxiliary. You can take auxiliary, but your opponent gets command points, right? Now, what does that mean? It means no one takes auxiliary units ever, for any reason. You just don't. It's functionally the same as banning them. So you do have to be careful. Sometimes, when is a choice not a choice? If reinforced units get -2 movement, it's possible you would see no reinforced units ever, which is the same as just banning it. But then again, it does give clever Johnny-type players a little room to have fun. I'm going to reinforce this unit. Yeah, it has -2 movement, but I don't care because they're doing this instead. Like, that's one of the most basic principles of being a Johnny is taking an upside that comes with a downside and finding a way to make the downside irrelevant. That's like the basic, that's like first principle for Johnny players. I'm going to get a bonus to this and a penalty to that. But I don't care about the penalty because X, right? Because I'm doing such and such, right? If they make Cav unable to reinforce, does just no one take Cav anymore? Probably, yeah. Unless there's a min-sized Cav that still punches decently above its weight class against probably reinforced foot guys now, I think the reinforcement just swaps to be foot guys, maybe. No more fixed unit sizes, please. That's never changing. I can confidently say that. And it's good that we have fixed unit sizes from a product perspective. 10 guys come in the box, units 10 guys deep. Like, you buy a box of 5 guys, how big is the unit? It's 5. You want to make the unit bigger? Okay, you buy a box of 5 more guys. That's very sensical from a product perspective. Instead of having to chase down one-ofs on eBay. And you could say, well, why doesn't GW just sell individuals? Because their entire factory builds them on sprues of 5 guys. So they have to redesign all of that to break them off of it. Now, they could change all of their factories for all their stuff, but nah. I think it's a very good thing that we have fixed unit sizes. Whether or not we keep reinforcing around, I don't know. It makes sense to be able to reinforce stuff, and maybe I just think that because it's been around since the game started. Maybe reinforcing a unit should mean setting up a replacement unit once the original was destroyed. I don't like that because I don't like summoning and bringing stuff back to life unless your army is really dedicated to it. But then again, that's just like a flavor problem I have. And yeah, they could come in from the board edge, but then they're mostly irrelevant for an entire turn, which is sometimes too long to matter. There's a whole lot of units out there where the analysis is why, and that issue probably needs to be addressed alongside looking at the Cav. Yeah, maybe it, instead of zoomed in on Cav, there's probably too many strings attached to Cav that tie to every other type of unit. And maybe you just have to zoom out and figure it out. I think there should be far, far, far less recursion in the game for me. But recursion is a nice trick for them to be able to have games not end immediately. So there is that. Yeah, Apple Juicy, that's probably correct. Their way of representing a charge is in a vacuum just +1 damage, which means that every cavalry is a hammer. That's also fast, which is like definitionally better than troops. What are troops? Well, they're a bunch of stuff. What's cav? Fast and good damage. Oh, okay, well, fuck troops then. It's that simple, right? Okay, finally, we figured out Cav. The problem is, Cavalry is way too fun. It's fast and it does a lot of damage. So either you need to fix that somehow or make the other stuff good. Absolute brainless endpoint, but... But let's talk about Daughters of Khaine. There are 2 new battle formations for the Daughters of Khaine. You can tell I give a shit about Daughters of Khaine, you know? Sometimes you can tell when the streamer really, man, just loves an army. I love Daughters of Khaine. I'm so excited to talk about it. Coven Zealots and Arena Veterans. And both are nasty. The former is so driven by a higher purpose that even serious injuries are not enough to keep those frothing lunatics down. At the end of any turn, D3 models are returned to each eligible unit. The other lot are so supernaturally quick that they gain 5 up ward until they use a fight ability. That one's better. Both options make fighting infantry heavy armies like Daughters of Khaine a terrifying prospect. These new formations are further bolstered by a new prayer lore, Blood Shadow Rites. Each of the 3 prayers deals with a subject that the Daughters of Khaine are passionate about, moving faster, getting hit less, and stabbing their enemies real good. With Shadow Step, a unit disappears into the gloom before reappearing somewhere nearby. Exaltation of Murda gives a unit bonuses to wound and potentially bonuses to hit if your priest chanting enthusiastically enough. Lastly, Scathe Scale covers your elves in shimmering serpent skin, making them harder to wound. Continuing this priestly theme, one of the new Scourge Guy ran War Scrolls is for Cthulhu, the Clone Seer. As a practitioner of shadowy shenanigans, she not only has access to these new prayers, but also a new one of her own, Blood Ritual. This prayer has multiple possible resolutions, reducing an enemy's ward, preventing them from using commands, or even stopping them using weapon abilities entirely. Roll high enough and all three apply. I love rolling. And if it wasn't enough, Cthulhu can now call in reinforcements to do her shadowy bidding. The other new War Scroll is for Bloodrack Shrine, which has become something of a mobile weapons platform. First, the Bloodrack Medusa has a Wizard 2, meaning she can cast twice as many spells as before. One of those spells can be Reflected Agony. That big mirror probably helps. Prevents enemy units from setting up within 12 of the shrine. They weren't gonna. Then her party piece. Stares really hard an enemy unit, paralyzes it, zaps it with her laser eyes. Okay, it's a Medusa. It turns it to stone. No need to go that far with it. For tomorrow's Scourge Guy Ran update, make sure you bring a telescope to gaze into the etheric void. I actually don't know what the fuck they're talking about here. Who? A telescope. Etheric void? The fuck? Oh, lizards. Seraphon. Yeah, I was thinking KO again. A second KO article has hit the tower. Okay, yeah. I forgot about Seraphon. Yeah. I don't think of telescopes, but maybe one of the skinks, I think, has a telescope, maybe, in his model, if I can recall. I would have said use a scrying orb or something like that. Instead of the etheric void, I would have maybe talked about constellations or something, but hey, all right. All right, so tomorrow is Seraphon, so that's going to be an easy day off for me. Holy, I don't care. Yeah, Lizard Man looking at their stars. Enhance. Faction rules, Daughters of Khaine. Coven Zealots. Hire Porpoise. Once per turn army. Return D3 slain models, each friendly Daughters of Khaine elf infantry unit. No thanks. When they die, they all die. No thank you. Nope. Not interested, thanks. Appreciate it. Graceful Illusion. That would be illusion, not like an illusion, as in kind of like a simile story, but and not an illusion, like a phantom, but an illusion. For the rest of the phase, friendly Daughters of Khaine elf infantry units have Ward 5 until they've used the fight ability. How are they going to write both of these right next to each other? You wrote this, and then you wrote this. Crazy. Graceful Illusion sounds great. Right, all of your people have a 5-up ward. They simply do. You can shoot them, I guess, if you have shooting in your army. You probably don't. Yeah, sounds awesome. I know I have some Daughters of Khaine players in the chat. What's your sub-faction that everybody plays? What's the one sub-faction? Where it's like, oh, everybody does this. Or whatever. What's the one that we already do? Checking the tapes. Bum. Bum, 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 bum. I don't know why I decided that checking the tape song should have zero rhythm to it. Like it's trying to sneak past a sandworm or something. But here we are. All right. These are the battle tome or the battle formations as of the index. They might have changed. Unmodified charge roll for Melisai or Khaine is 8. They have strike first, really powerful sometimes. For snake ladies, it can happen on the opponent's turn. Seems good, but random. Friendly DoK infantry unit that is not in combat, once per turn movement, 3 up, teleport. Pretty good, but probably unnecessary. You have deep striking, flappy ladies. And I don't know if you get charge bonuses that are super meaningful. Cauldron Guard. Frenzied Devotees. Pick the 3 friendly DoK infantry or war machine units that are not in combat. Oh, that are in combat to be the targets. You can either pile in. Oh, not either or. It's just both. Make a pile in and then pick an enemy unit in combat. And they take some mortals. And you get up to 3 of them. Once per turn army, end of the turn. Now, once per turn army reaction, you declared a charge ability for a friendly Daughters of Khaine elf unit. Change one of the dice to a 4. It's super good if you're playing elves. Like, don't fail charge rolls is pretty strong. Oh, but that's it. That's your 4, huh? Good job, King. That's your 4, huh? Okay. None of these are exactly blowing my dick off. So your elf infantry simply have a 5 upward always. I mean, not always, obviously. They lose it after they fight, but after they fight, whatever they're fighting is dead. Otherwise, you build your army wrong. So, hey, all right. If you're not using elves, then you're probably sticking with whatever Melisai thing you're playing, which is maybe Shadow Paths, I don't know. Maybe the 8 up and you're just trying to get lucky. Yeah. Is it really Speed of the Scathborn? Is that what people do in DoK? I'm looking at these 4 and I'm like, okay. Are we just rolling hot tonight as Daughters of Khaine? Or is everybody choosing something else, like in their DoK list? Lonely Sandbar, I think, is a tier 152. What's been the most fun rules you've come across from all this big new releases? The most, I don't have a pile of them prepared for this. The most fun rule. Damn, you know what? I'm going to have to delay my answer to you, Lonely Sandbar, but it will arrive. At the end of all of these, I'm going to be doing a big old tier list where I go over them all and we rank like how cool each of them were. Not on power level, but on hype, on excitement. And power level does add to excitement and hype, but it's not the only thing. And in so doing, I'll probably be able to answer that question during that one. If you fail a charge, you lose the game, so you pick the one that makes your charge kind of guaranteed. Right, but that's only with elves. Are you telling me that Daughters of Khaine, they don't play snake ladies anymore? They're just all elves now? I mean, that's believable, if so, but... But I have to imagine that, you know, they wrote this thing specifically for elves. And so I imagine that elf infantry is not what everybody's playing. Because otherwise, why would they give elves extra candy? Unless the army sucks. Then you just buff their best thing and pray, I guess. Like that could be. I really don't see a lot of Daughters of Khaine out in the wild, I'm going to be honest. You like snake ladies? I like them too, they're cool. I just don't know how good they are. And I don't mean that like, oh, geez, I'm not sure how good they are. What I mean is I actually don't know how good they are. Daughters of Khaine are pretty rare. It's a rare army. People also don't want to get stereotyped as the coom brain player, so that's why no one plays Fire Slayers. Short Kings rise mid. Apparently, Cthulhu elves better than snakes at the moment, so elves are just eating good. Okay. Maybe they deserve it. Play her lore. Blood Shadow Rites. Current lore. Seed of Shadows on a 5. Target can use charge even if around. Okay, unlimited run and charge. Sounds great. Making it unlimited is weird because you typically don't want to get into multiple combats at once in this game unless you get some way of cheating at initiative order or making it not matter or something like that. But still, run and charge on an unlimited spell on a 5 is pretty good. Dude Fire. If the target unit pick friendly, cast a spell, pick a visible enemy within 12. No thanks. Mind Razor, 8. Pick friendly DoK. Within 12, add 1 to rend. In addition, if the target charged this turn, add 1 to damage. So this is where like 80% of your army's damage comes from. This is an insane buff. Unfortunately, it casts on an 8. So your single buff that like over doubles your damage is unbelievably unreliable. And so if you fail to cast Mind Razor, all of your plans of what you were going to do for the turn are ruined. They fall to ash. And you got to figure something out. That sounds like it probably sucks. But you have to do it anyway. You just really hope Mind Razor lands. And now, oh no wait, this is prayers. I was looking at casting, pardon me. I forgot daughters can do everything. Prayer lore, pardon me. Yeah, we're not replacing the lore. Sacrament of Blood. Friendly DoK Priest. Friendly thing. Until the start of your next turn, add 1 to the current battle round number when determining which effects of the Blood Rites ability apply to the target. Chanting roll is 10. Treat the current battle round as simply 5. Okay, and it's unlimited. So you can pray for this and add 1. And you can successfully pray a second time and add another, so now is 2. So we can charge up the murder table. What do they give? +1 the run rolls, whatever. +1 the charge rolls, good. +1 the hit, good. +1 the wound, good. +1 the attacks, great. Okay. Really slow to pick up though. The first 2 are kind of whatever. And having the thing work on a 5 is dumb. Martyr Sacrifice. Till the start of your next turn, each time model in the target unit is slain by a combat attack. Before removing it, roll 2 dice instead of 1 for each 5. Okay, so you blow up and kill the enemy for dying. I think you just go for the enhanced version for the super juice. I think you do too. Because it works on a 5, if it was like a 3 or something, maybe you could charge it up 1 at a time, but you probably just go for the 10, make it a 5, and fuck off. Right. Anyway, when your guys blow up, they blow up the enemy as well. And then Covenant of the Iron Heart. Ignore negative modifiers to target's control score until the start of your next turn. Oh, jeez, I almost threw up. So Sacrament of Blood, if you just consider, like, you just replace all the text in this prayer with all of this text here, it seems like a good prayer. Pray 10 up, and you get +1 to run and charge and hit and wound and attacks. And it's a prayer that gets worse the longer the game goes on. But imagine the game going long, right? Where it's kill or be killed here. All said and done, I don't know if I like the prayer lore that much. Roll a 10, your opponent gives you $100. Roll a 10 and your opponent gives you $100 to fuck off. But what do we have here? Shadow Step. DoK Priest, target elf infantry only, no snake ladies allowed. The target can move up to 6, can move through the combat ranges of enemies, but cannot end that move in combat. If the chanting roll is 8, can it end in combat then? You can pick another eligible unit. Do you need the crit to target 2 things if the prayer is unlimited anyway? Works on a 3. Yeah, target can move up to 6 inches. Amazing. Love it. Scathe Scale. Friendly DoK. Elf only. Oh, okay, all of these are racist rules, so elf only. Till the start of your next turn, subtract 1 from wound rolls, combat attacks, target the friendly unit. Decent debuff. If the chanting roll was 8 until the start of the next turn, subtract 1 from wound rolls, combat attacks, target friendly. Elves will there wholly within 12 of the target of this ability instead. Okay, so it's big AoE version. Exaltation of Murda. Pick friendly DoK. So starting next turn, add 1 to wound rolls for the target's combat attacks. In add. If the chanting roll is 9 until starting next turn, add 1 attacks as well. Okay, so now, and this stacks. So this one gives you the whole murder table. And this one gives you 2 good things from the murder table, including the best one. While also you still have the murder table, so it doubles you up sort of. But only if it's super late game. This one's very similar to the murder table one on the other list. Yeah, it's similar enough that I think they're both a wash. They both pray the same. They don't double the same. Oh, I don't mean this one. I mean this one. You're just looking for the double, right? For 10. And it gives you tons of bonuses. This one, you're looking for a 9, and it gives you tons of bonuses. Sure. This one is slightly defensive. And this one is terrible. And then for this unlimited, it's move 6, which is fucking awesome. And this one is your guys hurt people when they die. New prayer lore. Really good. Better than the original, I think. I'm not a Daughters of Khaine player, but as I read it, the new prayer lore is way better than the old one. Way better. Like unlimited prayer, move 6. Yes, on a 3. A very similar bonus to the murder right table on the other thing. And you know, it's a defensive prayer. Like, sure, I'll take a defensive prayer. Who cares? I'll take a -1 in the wound. However, if you're on Snake Ladies, you are banned. You're banned from taking the cooler prayers. You have to take the worst ones. Eat shit, I guess. Scourge Guy ran. Crethuza, the Crone Seer. 6-12-5. You 12. Hey. Technically has some attacks, I guess. Enemy hero phase. Give this unit D3 ritual points. Yo, kind of cool. I like ritual points after reading that prayer lore. She is 240. That's a lot. Blood Ritual 3. Pick a visible friendly DoK elf or cavalry unit. Damn, she's racist too, huh? One of the following effects to apply at the start of next turn. Enemy units cannot use commands while they're in combat with the target. Awesome. Other than the companion ability, weapon abilities used by enemy units while they're in combat with the target have no effect. Awesome. Or subtract 1 from ward rolls made for damage points inflicted by the target's combat attacks. Awesome. If the chanting roll is 9, just do fucking all of them. How many pray is she? 2 prayer. I don't think it's possible for the old Cthulhu to be this good. I'm not even going to look at it. She's good. There's a good prayer. She gets ritual points, double pray, 12-inch flying. She sees crones non-stop, as far as the eye can see. Once per battle, yeah. Also, there's some other stuff. I was already a buyer. I'm ready to buy this after just these first 2 boxes, but she's got a third. Interesting to note, this 240 point hero, Cthulhu, she has more rules on her war scroll than a 500 point Mega Gargant. I'm not saying she's too good. I'm just saying if you're going to cost 500 points, I want to see some more stuff in that text box. Pick a friendly Daughters of Khaine elf infantry or cav. Set up a replacement. Oh yeah, just resurrect an entire squad for 1. Well, okay. Half a squad. Yeah, she's awesome. Big win here. Croneseer looking very nice. And then the Blood Rack Shrine. 1246. It's got a gaze that's 15 inches long. It's not very good. But it's got 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, 2-3. Decent profile. Highly decent attack profile for a ranged weapon. Crit 2 hits as well. Shoot in combat as well. Unlike the breath weapon of Fire Slayers, who can't use it in combat despite it being connected to their mouth. 15's a little short, though. 15's a little short, but all that shit's good. And you're supposed to put it behind all your guys anyway and move them up as a castle, so I suppose it's fine. Reflected Agony for 5. Till the start of your next turn, enemy units and enemy manifestations cannot be set up within 12 of this unit. Pure flavor text. No relevance in the game at all. Just pure flavor text. Once per turn, army any shooting phase. Racking Gaze. Pick a visible enemy unit within 15. Roll a die. If the roll is equal to or less than the unit's health characteristic for the rest of the phase, you can reroll failed hit rolls for attacks made by this unit target the Wizard 2. Trash. Okay. The Blood Whack Shrine. Garbanzo Beans. Actual Garbo. Cthulhu. Real shit. Very good. Sick. So what do we got for Daughters of Khaine? If you are a snake lover, BTFO. You're now homeless. You got a cup and an upturned hat, and you're hoping people throw $1 in it outside the Walgreens. If you're an elf enjoyer, particularly elf infantry, you get an awesome subfaction, much better prayer lore in almost every way, and one of the sickest commanders in the game, probably, just for pure juice. And then some fucking stupid shit that doesn't do anything over here, but who cares? Yeah, Daughters of Khaine. You'll love to see it. That's a good one. Daughters of Khaine. How much does this shrine cost? $230. Okay. DoK loves spells. Well, they love rolling exactly an 8. They don't love rolling under an 8. So hey, all right, there's that. The Murder Mobile. All right, I'm going to give Daughters of Khaine a big old 5 out of 7. Good work there. Tomorrow is Seraphin, the lizards. The lizards. I wonder what they're going to get. That'll be it for the news. Very interesting. All right, I'm going to play some French game and try to parry stuff. If you want to keep talking about Age of Sigmar, please do. there'll be a bunch of attempts. And so every 30 seconds, I'm going to die and be able to read chat and answer questions. BRB.
With Klondike ice cream bars, you get big servings, big taste, big cream.
Imagine
5 big, moist, delicious ounces of big, hot ice cream. And a coating made with beautiful
milk,
chocolate so you can
pour
big cream.
like I've never had it.
Klondike, big bar, big cream.
Big bar, big Gream. Yeah, Simon says, parry this, you fucking casual. Did we ever go back and get that thing for hitting a one-shot? Yes, we did. Yes, we did. We got the break damage limit. So now we can do well over 10,000. Look at Minoko over here. My man, I got him a suit from the Sky Casino. He cleans up nice, man. Is dripped out. For New Game Plus, my party is going to be solo Minoko. I want to see what this blue mage is all about, but I kind of want to play through the whole game with him. Everyone's looking nice, except Seal. And the party is Solo Lune, Solo Lune. And then the backup party is Solo Mael, the closer. And since it was taking me a while to beat... Wait, did I just turn it on Espanol? I accidentally did that. I went ahead and just decided to put it on Expert. Yeah, I decided to put it on Expert. Because, well, if it's going to take me this long, I might as well do it on the harder difficulty. One man, one mission of moderate difficulty. Be a wizard. Oh, we did it! We won! Phase 2. Alright, have to perfect parry everything. Missed 2, but a lot better than last night. And we're at 1 life, but I still have armor. Oh, nice. Lucky mark at the last second. And he steals all my shields. More shields.
Aucune marge d'erreur.
I'll take those back. Sky break.
Une tempête approche. Je m'en occupe.
Damn, missed one.
Me voilà.
Second chance.
Ta dernière heure est arrivée.
Oh, I was too quick on the second one. Oh well. It is all over. Reserve team? Yeah, sure. I'll do 19 million and then die.
Une danse de feu. En garde.
Much better than last night. Finally starting to get these parries down. Also have a shitload of armor. Music is popping in this game.
Les éléments en danse. L'acromate et la flûte. Ta dernière heure est arrivée.
Can we get a quick recap of who this dude is? The hardest optional boss in the game. Very
Ciel.
Elden Ring coded boss, if I do say so myself, but I appreciate that.
Une tempête approche.
If you mean to say who is he, like from a lore perspective, it's like a massive spoiler that I'd have to get into only spoilers about, and I don't want to ruin it for people.
Je suis prête. Prête à esquiver. Prête à esquiver. C'est mal.
That one could have gone better. I'm capable of better.
Continuons d'avancer.
Yeah, he means business if he's one-handing a two-hander.
Prête à esquiver. C'est la dernière fois que je perds. Ta dernière heure est arrivée. Porte de la trauma. Ouvrez-vous. Une tempête approche. Ta dernière heure est arrivée. Une tempête approche.
Looked like you could do Mael's Gradient 3 after doing 19 million or trying to learn the parry timing still. Yeah, and plus I wanna do it like as Lune until you get to phase 3 when he kills the party and the backup. Like, Mael's just supposed to be the backup party for phase 3 when he's super low life to just finish him off, but I kinda wanna like do it as the quote unquote bad character instead of the super OP one. I got this far in the game playing Mael, or playing Lune, so we gotta finish it.
Continuons d'avancer. Ta dernière heure est arrivée.
Damn, the first hit. I knew it came fast, but I hit it too quick. But yeah, Mael is kind of broken in this game. Well, I guess, okay, everybody's broken at the end of the game, right? But Mael probably especially so. But everybody's like fucking nuts at the end of this game. They're all absurd. I believe every character can basically one-shot everything in the game, almost, except this guy and maybe a few other things. Yeah, and she is the main character, kinda, so it's fine to be broken if you're the main character. A game reason for everyone to think you're so good.
Une tempête approche.
No mark.
vaguement tombé. Je m'en occupe.
And I missed
Je m'en occupe.
all of those. Embarrassing. I gotta get better at that one. 100% miss rate.
Continuons d'avancer. Je suis prête. Que l'encre coule. Prête à esquiver. Que l'encre coule. Je suis prête. Voilà notre chance. Aucune marge d'erreur.
Do I gradient here? It'll stun him, so yeah, I think yeah. $5 mil, not bad.
Ta dernière heure est arrivée.
The greed. And I already had my second chance. Getting closer. Auto defend skill. I mean, it's shielding, right? Like it puts little shields on you, which go away after one hit, and a little bit into the fight, he steals all your shields anyhow. But it's good for learning at the start. Yeah, if I parried all those in the last one, I probably would have gotten to phase 3 and then she auto dies to him, and then bring in Mael, finish him off. Might have done it. The saucy Frenchman.
Voilà notre chance. Pigment lui.
Oh, I missed that. There we go.
Ta dernière heure est arrivée. Une tempête approche. Je déborde d'énergie. Ça fait mal. Ressens la tempête.
More shields. Oh, I'm usually good at that one. Whoops.
Désolé, j'ai échoué. Ta dernière heure est arrivée.
It was not to be. Also, that is the easiest combo to parry. I might get it this stream. This might happen. Flash forward 3 hours from now. I might get it.
Voilà notre chance. Voilà notre chance.
I'm gonna start with Crippling Tsunami this time to put slow on him. I think maybe that's good. I'm not sure. Oh, nice. It did bring his speed just down enough so that I went 3 times instead of twice. Huge. Jesus. Alright, long combo is hard. If there's next time, can us know where to see the cutscene? Yeah, sure. I don't think anyone will be watching that is like super caring about spoilers for optional boss guy.
Je m'en occupe.
Have my one shield, fool.
Pas à esquiver.
Power combo.
mal. Aucune marge d'erreur. Continuons d'avancer. La dernière heure est arrivée. Je suis prête. Continuons d'avancer. Pigment tombé. C'est la dernière fois.
Second chance. All right, cutscene percent.
Ces épées, elles ressemblent à celles de la vieille lumière.
Ah, c'est donc lui qui a vaincu l'accent. Simon.
Tu le connais?
C'est un vieil ami à moi. Lui aussi était dans l'expédition zéro. Il a disparu et je croyais... On dirait qu'il a rencontré Cléa. Je vais t'offrir le repos, mon ami.
Je déborde d'énergie. Pigment tombé. Mon amour, ces adversaires sont indignes de toi. Toi, qui as affronté le ciel et la terre, terrassé des géants, pour me retrouver, me délivrer de son étreinte. Tomberas-tu face à cette simple épreuve? Alors que ton serment n'a pas été respecté. Debout. Tes ennemis t'attendent.
Une tempête approche. Une tempête approche.
No, it's phase 2.
Je m'en occupe. Que l'encre coule. Une tempête approche. Je suis prête. C'est pas bon du tout. Ta dernière heure est arrivée. Aucune marge d'erreur.
Too early.
Cette expédition n'est pas encore finie. La chroma coule flou. C'est pas bon du tout. Aucune marge d'erreur. Je suis prête.
Oh, you hadn't seen the cutscene yet, yeah. Ortiris wanted to see it, so I showed it one time.
Voilà notre chance.
Can I just kill him without doing that stuff? The phase
Voilà
1?
notre chance.
Does he just die to the normal thing? Without the mark damage? He does, okay. So this can save some time in between runs. Because I don't have to do all this, the gun stuff in phase 1. You know what? I should use that one lightning thing maybe in the future.
Ta dernière heure est arrivée. Une tempête approche. Je suis prête. C'est pas bon du tout. Ta dernière heure est arrivée. Continuons d'avancer. Prête à esquiver. Prête à esquiver. Les éléments dansent.
Closing in on getting that one.
Ta dernière heure est arrivée. Porte de la chroma. Ouvrez-vous. Les éléments dansent.
All right, attempt number 3. I lost count. Round 3, right?
Les éléments dansent. Que l'ombre coule. Je m'en occupe.
Oh, eat shit. Give me a turn.
Ta dernière heure est arrivée. Que l'encre coule. Prête à esquiver.
Damn.
Les éléments dansent.
Oh, 1 AP short. That's awkward.
Tout ce potentiel. Ta dernière heure est arrivée. La chroma coule. Que l'encre coule. Continuons d'avancer.
Damn. Damn. Oh well. I thought that was it. We back kicking this guy's at. Wait, that's not a win? Yeah, it's phase 2. He kind of has 3 phases. The first one is easy, you just kill him. And then the second one is very difficult. And then when he gets to maybe like, I don't know, 35% life or something, he automatically kills the party. And your backup party has to finish the fight.
Les éléments dansent.
Yeah, I'm still level 90, whatever. Yeah. So I'm trying to survive until he auto-kills the party with Lune. And then Maiev will show up and hopefully two-shot him. That's the game plan. Yeah, she tells Simon to get good, and then he tells her, no, you get good.
Je m'en occupe. C'est pas bon du tout. Continuons d'avancer. Prête à esquiver. Je suis prête. Tu n'as pas le droit de mourir. dernière heure est arrivée. Pigmentons-les. Je suis prête. Voilà notre chance. Voilà notre chance. Les éléments dansent. Une tempête approche. Prête à esquiver. Je suis prête. Continuons d'avancer. Ta dernière heure est arrivée. C'est pas bon du tout.
I should have done that in the other order.
Ouvrez-vous! Ta dernière heure est arrivée. Je suis prête. La chromate de feu. C'est pas bon du tout.
Sure. It won't break him though.
Ta dernière heure est arrivée. Prête à esquiver.
Eat shit.
C'est pas bon du tout.
Too early on the second hit. Mael can possibly finish him off here. Shall we try? How much damage does she do? He might be low enough. Ooh. Oh, he was way low enough. Okay. God damn. The Mael power. Please, another phase. I want another phase. Please. Oh, have my big fucking sword? Thank you. It's yours now. Huge. Big dude. That's not even a Zweihander, that's like a Octohander. Finally, I have got sword. A hero desires a two-handed sword. And a two-handed sword desires two hands. A tale of hands and swords. Eternally two-handed. Simoso. Oh, and it's automatically level 33? Shit, dude, nice. What does it do?
Simon, des pans entiers de mon esprit disparaissent peu à peu. Et je dois absolument coucher sur le papier ce dont je me souviens encore avant que tout m'échappe. Ma merveilleuse Cléa, que t'a-t-elle donc fait, cette peintresse? Elle a réussi à m'embobiner. Elle te ressemblait tellement que j'ai cru à ses bobards. Elle m'a conféré le pouvoir de vaincre les accents et d'entrer à l'intérieur du monolithe. Hélas, je n'ai compris que trop tard qu'elle m'avait embrouillé l'esprit. Et qu'après t'avoir enlevé et enfermé en un lieu que je n'avais aucun espoir d'atteindre, elle m'avait fait prendre un chemin dont la finalité était la destruction de ton avenir. Et puis, j'ai rencontré Aline, qui m'a fait comprendre que je pouvais encore te sauver. Grâce à son aide, j'ai pu descendre jusqu'en bas du monolithe où elle l'a enfermé. Celui qui est la cause du gommage et qui menace toute notre existence. Mais il est extrêmement puissant. Et j'ai de plus en plus de mal à résister à son influence. Mon esprit se disloque. Je ne pense plus qu'à toi désormais. Et le désespoir m'envahit. Mais je sais qu'un jour, nos souffrances prendront fin. Et nous nous retrouverons dans cette existence ou dans une autre.
Wouldn't that make main character nearly 100? Yes. Talks about it even. Actually immortal. The Simoso. 7.7k power. Element light. And ethereal sword deals light damage on any damage dealt with skills. What? Jesus Christ. So you get the double hit thing that he got. 20% chance to apply burn on dealing light damage. Can't die if at least rank A. Simply can't die. Oh. Alright. I thought Mael was OP, because she starts in 200% stance with a special weapon, and her abilities do fuck shits of damage. But actually, she sucks, because Verso is immortal, as long as he's rank A. Then again, every time you get hit or fail a parry or whatever, you drop rank, so it's not like... It's not simply invincible, right? You still take the damage and stuff. You just can't actually die from it, but that shit is sick. And I'm definitely gonna test that out. Doing light damage every time you do other damage is nuts. Wee. Let's go. Oh boy. And that's it. I've done every optional thing. Every climbed the tower of whatever, 66 boss or 33 boss fights. In the endless tower of optional boss fights. Did all the world bosses. It's over. The only thing left to do is actually technically beat the game. What is it, dude? This balloon man? Oh, that's Esqui. He's actually filled with wine. He's made out of rugs and wine. And he's the most powerful creature on the planet. Made by the painters. Unfortunately, he's kind of dumb, but in a wise, funny way. You know the... Okay. There's an archetype, right? There's an archetype of character in media, like, you know, anime or video games or movies or whatever. The character archetype is basically the most powerful dude ever, but unfortunately he's a silly little guy. And that's Esquire. Like, always kind of being on the sidelines and seems like he knows everything. Secretly the most powerful guy ever, but he's just like fucking silly. Like he's a goob. Yeah, he's like a Tom Bombadil kind of character. Anyway, I'm gonna save my game by changing his weapon from Cheval Ram Lamra to the fucking HeyWoah, which should autosave it. Let's watch the cutscene entering into the Final Francia 15. But I'll actually beat the game on some other stream, I think. And then, so next stream we'll beat the game, which should be fairly easy, because all the optional stuff is like 60 million times harder. And then you guys are finally free of me playing Expedition 33 every fucking stream. Every fucking stream. Anyway, let's watch a cutscene.
Attends-nous ici.
C'est dangereux pour toi, près de papa. On va devoir faire vite. Je ne pourrai pas les maintenir très longtemps.
The Riders of Frohan?
Demain viendra.
Oh. Thank you, summoned rapiers. Summon Gustav, do it! Glorious wreckers of havoc. Are summoned guys gonna kill these two, or should I fight? Oh, they're dueling! They're dueling in the background. Let's go. Oh no. The party that I rigged up to auto die and explode so that I could solo is strong enough for that explosion to just kill them. This is the final area. Oh no. We make it look easy.
Excellent.
Real French shit. Boom. Alright, we get to watch them fighting on the things I can't reach. Win by dying. Let's go. I can't walk down the middle. All right. There it is. The perfectly normal trash can that we clicked on at the beginning of the game and it said a perfectly normal trash can. It still says it. I thought it would do something. I thought it would be an Easter egg later. But it's actually simply perfectly normal. Surely there's something else to it, right? Is this the House of the Rising Sun, kinda? In spite of everything, it's still you. I'm still me. Kind of looking around. Oh, we can see him fighting on the other building. Nice. Alright. Next stream we beat the game. Possibly really easily. Hey, alright. What was tomorrow? Tomorrow is Seraphon and beating Sex Position 33 and a third. Eclair Obscutum. Yeah, the final level flags are all 33. That's it. We got the farthest. Even farther than 0. Absolute ayayaing in chat. Anyway, TY for watching. See you guys tomorrow. Stay big.